Hello everyone. Today I'm going to share with you a really beautiful story about hell. What's beautiful about hell? I don't know, but I'm going to share something that I think you need to know about hell. So if you're someone wondering what is life like for those who are in hell, or what will it be if people end up in hell, I have a story in the Bible that actually answers a lot of questions. And the beautiful thing about this story is that it was given by Jesus Christ himself. And we know he is God. And God cannot tell lies. He cannot exaggerate. And I believe God wanted to just drop with us the information, the understanding about what hell is like. And so let's look at the story. So I titled this video 10 Realities of Hell. Maybe that's not the right topic, but then you're going to get to see why I called it that way. And so Luke 16 from verse 19 to 31. I'm going to read from the King James Version from verse 19 to 23, and then again like that. And each time I read, I will tell you my deductions. So the Bible says here, there was a certain rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fed sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. So before I continue, I want you to see that in this few passages, you can see clearly that your physical status and health status, your wealth status cannot determine whether or not you go to heaven or if you go to hell. It cannot. And we also see that as long as Christ tarries, men do pass away. We also see that when people pass away, they either go up or they go down. Lazarus was carried up by the angels. The rich man was buried and was put to the ground. Remember, Jesus Christ said to the Pharisees, I believe, he said, I am from above, but ye are from beneath. You see, your origin is from beneath, and I originate from heaven. In other words, you return back to your origin. And your origin here does not mean about who created you. It simply means whom you've handed over your soul to. Alright, so in verse 23 we see, and in hell he lifts up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. So one thing I want to point out to you is that our senses are alive in hell. So the rich man could still see. Alright? He could still see. What else could he do? He says in verse 24, and he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me. He could still talk. So people still talk in hell. They still communicate. He says, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. So he could still feel pain. He could see, he could talk, he could feel. So that means our senses are very much alive, if not even heightened in our sensuality, if that's even a word. So it's like heightened, it's like increased. Alright? So here we look at it and he says, I am tormented in this flame. Look at verse 25. The Bible says, but Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, but thou art tormented. We see that in life after death, we often get what we deserve. So I'm not going to move into that, but let's look at something else here. He says, remember that thou in thy lifetime received. That means our memory is still alive in hell. We can remember things. Can you see that? That means you can see, you can talk, and you can also hear. He was able to hear what Abraham was saying to him. The next thing I want to show to you is that we have an increased depth of knowledge and understanding. How did he know Abraham that he had not seen ever? How did he recognize him? How did he remember Lazarus? It means there was this increased depth of insight and knowledge. He could tell that was Abraham without being schooled. He could tell that was Lazarus, and he could even tell the difference between hierarchy. He did not ask Abraham to give him water. He asked Abraham to send Lazarus. In other words, he knew that Abraham was still in a position higher than Lazarus and could send Lazarus to do something. Isn't that amazing? All right, what else do I want to show you? Let me see. Did I mention to you that there's also this sensation of thirst and hunger? Because he was asking for water to cool his tongue. So yes, they do feel the heat, they do feel the torment, the thirst, the hunger, they hear, they speak, they understand, and they remember things. Alright, let's look at verse 26. Let's see what Abraham continues to say. He says, and beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. In other words, in hell there is a total separation. Total separation. And remember, in verse 24, he cried out for mercy from Abraham. In other words, in hell, there is still a longing for mercy. People are looking for mercy. But then the reality is that there is no mercy in hell. There is no help. Abraham, even if he wanted, could not help him. And there was this hopelessness. You know, you cannot go out of there. You cannot receive help. You cannot receive mercy. There is this consciousness and awareness of hopelessness in hell. But the thing is, when a person is in hell, he always feels that the more I cry out, the more I beg, the more I pray, maybe I'll be heard, maybe I'll be taken out. Because why? We still have our senses, our mind working in that same way like it was in the earth when we called out for help and we received help. So in hell, there's a tendency, a high tendency for people to look for help, to call for help, to pray. But there is this hopelessness in hell. All right, number 8, because I have kind of mentioned 7 already without you knowing. I'm going to read them out to you later. But number 8 is that there are endless prayers that aren't answered ever in hell. So I'm going to show you that right now. In verse 27, the rich man says, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house. Again, he asks Abraham to send Lazarus to his father's house. It's a prayer, right? All right, let's read further. He says, for I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. And Abraham said unto him, they have Moses and the prophets. Let them hear them. And he said, nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. And he said unto him, if they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded through one rose from the dead. I want you to see the endless prayers in hell. So many people in hell do not want to see even their children or enemy even coming to hell, because there is no way out and there is no end in their torment. So he wishes that his brethren will be saved than ever before. So the horror in hell won't make you want even your enemy to come there. But the thing is, God is always telling them, They have the prophets, the teachers, they have the message, they have the gospel on earth. If they won't hear the gospel from these people, from men like Moses, I mean, think about a man like Moses. If you want to hear the word from him, do you think they will hear the word from someone who died and came back to life? You might say yes, but we've read about people who say they have an encounter with God. They've been to hell and they've come back and they've shared their testimonies and they've preached it, but there are still people who criticize the stories, who played it down and made it feel like it was nothing. So yes, the Bible was sudden, and it was really written here clearly that they will not listen either. Salvation is really personal. Hell is a nightmare, and I would not want anyone to go there. So let's remember